Democrats are very, very happy. I think they see Kamala Harris as like the phoenix rising from the ashes of the ill-fated Biden campaign. That was very quick. Like I said, Sunday, 1:46 p.m., he says he's out. By Monday morning, there was already a Harris for President logo. Almost the entire presidential Democratic Party had come out and endorsed her. I think the only big holdout right now was still Barack Obama, but supposedly he's going to endorse her soon. By Monday afternoon or Monday night, they said enough delegates had endorsed her. I mean, everyone's getting behind her.
Welcome to Reporter's Notebook, where we talk to the Washington Examiner's top journalists about the stories breaking on their beats. I'm Jim Antle, and I'm joined today by White House reporter Haisten Willis. Haisten, had some big changes here. President Joe Biden not running for re-election. He's given a speech at the White House sort of explaining his decision. What did he have to say?
Absolutely. Huge news. Stuff people will be talking about 50, 100 years from now. Biden dropping out, replaced almost instantly by Kamala Harris. He did give a big address on Wednesday night. It was only about 10 minutes long. He didn't really say why he dropped out. He said that saving democracy is more important than me. That was kind of the big message. He did a few different versions of that, that I had to drop out in order to save democracy, I guess implying that he thought he couldn't win.
Right.
But he didn't say that directly. They asked Karine Jean-Pierre, the press secretary, the next day what the reason was. She didn't really say. She kind of pointed back to his statement. He had said it could have been God Almighty that told him if he had an illness or if his aides had told him that he couldn't win. He said he doesn't have an illness, so it was either God or it was the aides, but we still don't know right now.
The saving democracy aspect of it, though, as you say, it does really hint that he was worried about losing to former President Donald Trump, whether that's because of numbers he was shown by his campaign, whether that's because of a lack of unity within the Democratic Party. Those sorts of things were, I think, the main thing he left ambiguous, no?
Possibly. One thing that was really interesting, I didn't even realize this until somebody pointed it out, was that he didn't actually say vote for Kamala. He didn't really even say that message. Maybe that was because this was not billed as a campaign event, but as a news event. Trump was trying to make some noise about that networks should give him airtime because this was going to be a campaign event. It was not. So he didn't say that. He just kind of implied very strongly that you should vote for Kamala Harris because Trump would be a threat to democracy. But again, he was pretty vague on the details on that.
Sure. So Harris has now stepped out of Biden's shadow. She is the presumptive Democratic nominee. She's been out doing some early campaign appearances. How have things gone?
I think they've gone pretty well so far. I think Democrats are very, very happy. I think they see Kamala Harris as like the phoenix rising from the ashes of the ill-fated Biden campaign. That was very quick. Like I said, Sunday, 1:46 p.m., he says he's out. By Monday morning, there was already a Harris for President logo. Almost the entire presidential Democratic Party had come out and endorsed her. I think the only big holdout right now was still Barack Obama, but supposedly he's going to endorse her soon. By Monday afternoon or Monday night, they said enough delegates had endorsed her. I mean, everyone's getting behind her. I've watched a few of her speeches now. A lot of enthusiasm in the room. I think people are very excited on the Democratic side, and I think Republicans understand they're a little bit more nervous. The Trump campaign put out a memo saying they thought there would be a Kamala Harris honeymoon. Be about a 2-week period. You get a polling bump from her. But what they think is that as people get to know Harris more, they're going to start seeing some of that polling recede. We'll see if that happens, though.
So, I mean, we've seen this dynamic before where you have a president who is retiring, their vice president is running to succeed them, but this one's a little bit different because the president was originally was running until a few days ago. The president then kind of disappears for a few days after tweeting that he's not running. And Harris is kind of installed, and there seems to be all this excitement and enthusiasm that was lacking while Biden was running. Does it get a little awkward?
I don't know if awkward is the word, and I don't know if we've really seen this before. I get what you're saying, that you had Bush following Reagan, you had Al Gore following Clinton, you had Biden, of course, following Obama, but this particular set of circumstances is really, really unusual. It has not happened before, a president dropping out of the race this late. So is it going to be awkward?
Right, even LBJ in 1968 was a lot earlier.
Yeah, I think that was in like March or something. It was earlier in the year. So this is definitely different. What's going to be really interesting to see is how this really affects your sort of rank and file voter, someone who's not really tuned into politics that much. There's probably people who still don't even know that Biden isn't running anymore.
Right.
And if they know about Kamala Harris,
I didn't make the joke that Biden was one of those people. I want to receive credit for that.
Nor did I.
Yeah.
And if they do know who Kamala Harris is, though, they probably don't know very much about her at all. I've done a lot of research myself, honestly, since Sunday, learning more about Kamala Harris's past, and this is something I'm paid to do, right?
Sure.
So there's going to be a lot of sort of catch up, maybe some whiplash on their part. The voters might see it as being awkward, but again, we don't really know. We're going to need more time to get more polling in to see how they react.
And it's only a few short weeks until Chicago, where Harris presumably officially becomes the nominee.
That's right, presumably.
Thank you, Haisten.
Thanks.
You can read Haisten and the rest of our political team's coverage at washingtonexaminer.com.